Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Mansion Takkies. In deze aflevering reizen Debora en ik af naar Amsterdam. We spreken met 3 dansers van de 5 o'clock les die dansen in de performance Point of View. Deze voorstelling is een samenwerking tussen 5 o'clock les en de Mansion. Het is een prachtige voorstelling geworden en in deze aflevering nemen we jullie mee in het proces. Veel luisterplezier.
I just explained actually to Liza, when you weren't here yet, that for me it's the first time I host a podcast. So I've been in a podcast before, but then I was interviewed. So I think that's easier, then you just answer questions. But I think it's a real nice challenge. The first idea actually was me and Percy doing together the interviews, but Percy had other stuff to do. So I'll do my best, but also for me, there's also like pressure, but no pressure. Welcome to this podcast with the mentioned Takkies. We have a series of podcasts till now. Mich always was hosting it and did technique as well, actually. And we were really eager to do a podcast on the process of point of view, the production we made with you, or you actually were most in charge. So therefore we're really interested in hearing more of the process, because the Mansion in general is about giving young people a stage and a way to show themselves. And that can be with all kinds of things, with music, dance, of course. So therefore we thought this is a wonderful opportunity, this production you made, to hear more about what does a process like you had with Point of View, what does that do that to you personally as well? So both personally and artistically, the way you develop as a dancer. But therefore our belief is you also need to develop as a person, not just, your body and your technique. So that's like a small introduction. And first, can you please introduce yourself so the people who are watching and listening know who we have here right now? Who likes to start?
Shall I start? I'm Aiden. I'm 17, almost 18. And this project has been very, I learned a lot from it. And also a whole other domain. I think it was a new thing to do with such a big group, because we were with a lot and it was really something we needed to manage. So I loved the whole process of it, the ups and the downs, and I'm excited to tell more about it.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so you're 17, and since when do you join 5 o'clock class?
I think I started in the weekend. I think that was like 2 years ago, because that was then a whole new part of 5 o'clock, because it used to be just during the weeks, and now there was like a weekend class, so you only went on Saturdays, and now they're divided in 2 groups. But my first season at 5 o'clock was when there were still like one weekend group. So I think that's 2 years ago, yeah.
Okay, cool. And you're in the peer group?
Yeah, right now.
And how was that process? You just start and they immediately look at what group you fit, or is there like a building up something?
Well, I think 5 o'clock has been very good at guiding you, and what is a good moment to switch from groups or level or anything in that way. So I started in the weekend, and then I wanted to dance a little bit more at 5 o'clock, because I still dance at my other dance school. And then I did like once with the peers, and the weekend the next year there, like after that. And then this year I was like, I just want to do it. I was very scared, because it was like six days in a week, and this is like my exam year, so I was like, how am I gonna do that? So I was very terrified, but they helped me a lot in doing it, and a lot of teachers were like, just go with it. give your whole, and it will be fine.
So,
yeah.
what does your week look like
My week. Oh,
normally?
well, it's pretty tough because I'm done with school at 3:30, I think, most of the times. So then I'm home at 4, and then at 5:30 I actually have to leave for 5 o'clock. So at the end of the year, I started to go straight out of school to here because it was a lot with homework and learning and stuff. Um, and days when I'm early out, on at 12 or something, I just start eating at 4 and then head this way. Um, and yeah, Saturdays I'm just the whole day here, and then maybe do something fun with friends in the evening.
Okay,
Yeah.
so every day of the week, and then also the Saturday.
Yeah,
You're
so mostly
here.
coming out of school, eating, coming here, dancing, and maybe on Fridays, Saturdays, I try to still have a social life. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for your introduction.
I am Eva. I'm 18 years old, and I've been dancing at 5 o'clock since the beginning of this year, September. I auditioned previous year, so for this year. And I'm having a gap year right now, which I combine with 5 o'clock. So I'm also planning to stop after this year and continue with a dance education.
Do you already know where you want to proceed your dance education?
Yeah, at the contemporary dance department at Fonti, so that's in Tilburg. So
I know. I teach there.
Oh, cool! Oh,
Yes.
cool. Yeah. So I'm very happy that I got this opportunity to really prepare myself for those auditions as well.
So you started 5 o'clock in your gap year, not like Aiden, you already did before. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And where do you live?
I live in Haarlem. So in the first instance, when I was still in high school, I also followed a pre-education in Haarlem at Danshuis Haarlem. But it was only possible to dance like seven hours a week over there. And that was just not enough for me to really prepare for those auditions. And I wanted to dance more, also to really sort of find out if it's really for me to dance like long the whole week, to
And
make a lot of hours.
Oh, and in general, how do you experience 5 o'clock class? What does it do to you?
It really gives me like structure. It's really nice because you have like ballet every day, for example. So you really get into a sort of rhythm. And everybody's really different, and that makes it really special for me because you have like a lot of different personalities, and I think everybody can add something different to the group as a whole. And yeah, I really like the diversion,
Diversity?
from the group and the lessons or the classes we get as well.
Yeah, that's really nice that you remark such a thing, but that also says something about the teachers, I think, that they really encourage you to, listen and look and learn from each other. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's definitely correct. Yeah. We also have workshops every now and then, or we have theater as well to just sort of enlarge your whole perspective on what art is in general.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
That sounds wonderful. Okay. Lisa.
Yeah. Hello. My name is Lisa. I'm 17 and I'm starting 5 o'clock like Eva only this year and finish it too. So we're just coming, grab what we want to know from this education and living. So I know what I can.
And how do you experience, because you're not born here or where you're from, and can you say something about the difference what you experienced in your country where you're originally from, and you had dance education there as well, and is there a difference with what you experience here right now with 5 o'clock?
Okay, I'm from Ukraine, yes, and it's really big difference. When I come to 5 o'clock, I just thinking, okay, I want to be in the peers because we have 6 days in a week, and in my school we also do the 6 days in a week, but we have not 5. We have hour of dancing.
Oh, instead
per
of
day,
we
you-
have
you
4
mean,
right,
right?
Yeah.
like right now.
4. And in my school in Ukraine, we did 6 or 7 in a day.
Mhm.
So, yeah, 7 it's when we have competitions and something like this. What else? We have really different schools. Like here, they really want to see you, how you dancing, how you want to prepare performance yourself, and yeah, they want to like have to found your own style, I think.
Mhm.
And in my school, it's a little bit different because we always think a lot about the technique, the really high legs, tricks, and something like this. Yeah.
So what Eva just described about, also learning from your peers, actually, and then I ask, is that also encouraged by the teachers? Is that something you recognize, or not at all, from what you experienced in the Ukraine, in Ukraine?
Sorry, I don't understand it.
Eva described that, when I asked her in general, what do you like about 5 o'clock class? And then you said that you really like that the group is so diverse, and not just observing the diversity, but also experiencing what that it does to yourself, or how you can learn from the other peers around you. And
Yeah, it's same with the teachers, because I love my teachers in Ukraine. I really love them, but they a little bit worse than Masha.
Really strict. Really
Yes.
strict.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So when I come here, just is it a teacher? Okay.
That is less informal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not feel this pressure. Yeah, here. So
is that better? Do you need pressure to perform, or is it also good to,
I think the better way it's a middle, because sometimes we need the pressure and sometimes we don't need it, because I think like Masha and Liza, they give a pressure for us that we have to be here if we want to be in peace, and Quincy don't do it and everybody is coming. It's like, yeah, I
Interesting.
don't know how to
Maybe like
explain
it works the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about it, but maybe. Yeah.
Maybe it,
Yeah.
I think about it because I have 2 different educations before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
There's-
I feel.
I guess there needs to be some sort of balance by supporting people to
Yeah.
be there, and that you're just motivated and doing it for yourself, and in the meantime not like being too strict, because I think when you're too strict, people get a bit demotivated as a reaction on that, and they don't come to classes anymore
Yeah.
because they don't like the atmosphere or the
Yeah,
the
and I think
ambience anymore.
You also like forget that you're doing it for yourself. And I think when somebody points it out, which is totally fair, because you need to finish your piece, you need your people, because you can't work with invisible people. So it's fair and it's logical, but I also think it's important that you still see that you're doing it for yourself. So I think when somebody's very strict, it's like you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to be here or whatever, then I think you kind of lose the perspective from yourself and mere like you're gonna watch it from the other one, and it's like you have to be here, and then it goes away from what you want and why you're here, and it should come from yourself, like I want to be here, I want to do this piece. So but I think a lot of teachers manage it well, because they're like when you're not here, you're not in a piece. So then they still lay it on you, like if you want to be in a piece, be here, be my guest. But if
It's
you're
your own
not,
responsibility, right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And otherwise communicate. If you
Yeah.
don't communicate, you're out. But that's fair,
Yeah,
because
it's important.
otherwise you don't know what you're gonna be up to,
Yeah.
or what you want to do.
So it's interesting because I think for a lot of people, who not really into dance or arts in general, like they really think from one's perspective that you learn to dance. But you know what you just said, this is also a way of learning to communicate, which is always
Yes,
yeah.
important.
definitely. Yeah.
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 Let's switch to specifically the process of point of view. Do you remember when it started? Was there a certain starting point, or was it really smoothly brought into the process of the peer group? Because we started from what I remember, in December, but I'm not sure actually.
Yeah.
So
I think
Yeah, it was
so.
quite fake, like the beginning,
Yeah.
because it was sort of slightly introduced, but not like really clear. So we
Yeah.
first had some sort of additions, and like the
Yeah.
original plan was that it was a project made for 7 people, and those 7 people would be chosen by doing additions. So you had to prepare, I think, a solo and 2 other tasks, also
Yeah,
a
one
hip hop
Improvisation,
phrase,
hip-hop
improvisation.
phrase.
One with the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solo with a bench
a
and
prop.
solo.
Yeah,
Yeah, like storytelling. That
Yeah.
was a bench.
Yeah.
I think.
and we were really encouraged to do that, but it was also free choice. So if you really didn't want to do it, you didn't have to. But at the end, I think, like the biggest part of the group did audition in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, they made like several options to go.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
several auditions.
Yeah,
So
mhm.
at the end, I think people also went twice.
Yeah,
So they
exactly.
kind of came loose, I
yeah.
think.
If you
and-
thought you could do better,
Yeah.
you could go
Yeah,
another
very free.
time. There were also you were coming, of course, to watch
Mhm.
the auditions, and also 2 other people who were planning
also
to make
from the mansion.
a documentary about 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
I
think
think
that
yeah,
was
it,
the beginning.
yeah, and it developed very.
Yeah.
I think kind of sneaky because it kind of went like unknown because I think it was like somebody like you watch somebody like making a sketch of something and detailing it like over and over again, and then at the end you're like, oh, that's what you're drawing. And I think that was kind of the project for us at the beginning because it developed a lot, like as she said, as Eva said. It was like for a few people, and then they actually were like actually want to give this opportunity to all of you to be part of like actually a production, because that's a whole other thing than just a performance. It's really more in the serious scene, and yeah.
They Percy and Spunky say me. I don't remember say for us or only for me, but they say that they want to give us the feeling that we are already the professional dancers. That's why they doing the auditions for us, and
To really prepare to
to the real life.
yeah,
sort
Yeah, he
of.
explained that he had actually he like acknowledged that a lot of people who went from 5 o'clock into the dancing world were having a hard time sometimes because it was kind of new and unexpected, and when they came in a production it was all new and kind of stressing or unknown, and he wanted to make that gap a little smaller, I think, with this project.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, if you look back, what do you think about it? That this was actually maybe, if what you describe to me, it sounds like maybe they were also like searching or exploring.
For sure.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
I think that was the case because I think Percy also mentioned that it was like his process as well, and that he was really sort of evolving with us as well. And if I look back, I was forgetting it in the first instance, but we already started earlier because we had to write a letter about what dance means for us, and then we had to make a solo, and then we had the audition. So it was also really about like our perspective in the first instance, about our point of view. We already had to clear that in our head and write that down. So I think, yeah, and you constantly had to think about that vision and also rewrite it if you wanted to add something. And on basis of that, you could make a solo. So, yeah, I think that is a really nice beginning, because then you create your own point of view, and by combining those views together, you get like our point of view, and we could really work on the group as a process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you start, like you say, it's also a group process, but in this group process, there's really space for your individual needs, point of view, your longings actually, which can be, of course, be very different from the others. But it's really good, I think, to give this attention and to start actually with that attention, who you are as a person and how you look at dance or what dance means to you. And then in the process, you can see how that comes together as a, that's nice. And I think it's really cool, actually. I'm a teacher myself, and I really believe in having like a vulnerable attitude towards a group, and not like I'm a teacher and I know best and you listen to me, because why? You know, I'm absolutely convinced, and I'm aware of that actually every day, every time I work with students or whatever, that I so much learn from them as well. Yeah. So that's for us also a reason to work with Percy, for example, because, you know, in this process, he does that too, actually. And of course, he's a different person than I am. That's good, you know, because then we also learn from each other. And he has his own style, of course, but the base actually, or the
behind it.
Yeah, that's what we share. And then sure, you know, he does it in this way, I do it in a bit of that, but that's also inspiring for us, you know, to do that, to have the courage actually, because it's also, I think, a lot for teachers that it gives them, if you have direction, it's also safe, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
And it's because also, like, I don't know, sometimes also students are like, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do.
There was a lot in here. In this I think it was very, very
and what happens
new.
Then?
Yeah, it was very new, and for a lot of people very hard because things weren't clear.
Yeah.
And I think if they realized that was just how it's gonna be, this making it clear by saying it's not gonna be clear, then you know what's gonna happen. But I think for a lot of people that switch came late, and they kind of forgot, you know, sometimes you kind of forgot that the teacher was also in the process with us. And I think that was very new in this production, because it was a lot, you know, of you know, making something, then switching it, changing it, cutting it out. So sometimes we made something, we rehearsed something, and it was just out, the music was switched all the time. And I think that's a fair thing for a process, because it is, and you have to switch, and you have to, you know, do whatever you need to do until you're satisfied. But I think that was pretty hard sometimes to face. Yeah. And I think also face yourself in that process. I think
what you just described, do I understand you correctly? If you understand it is also part of a process, but still you also say it's kind of hard. And now if you look back, what do you take out of it? Or is there something positive that remains somehow from also that maybe sometimes unsatisfying part of the whole process?
Yeah, I think go. I think if I speak for myself, that was actually the biggest learning point. So really it was all about adaptability for me. So like in general in life, I find it really hard. I think this is for the most people to deal with insecurities. So if things are not clear, and I think like this performance, the POV performance, was more about the process and like the end result. And that it was also about like the layer that lays behind like the end results. So, for example, we had the Michael Jackson piece, and that was a piece of 5 minutes, and I think, yeah, we worked for hours on it, and we switched it constantly. It was first in the first instance on different music, as you already mentioned, and then we had a different choreo, and then different light, etc., etc. And it could be quite frustrating for me, because sometimes if you find something beautiful, or you can put something into a piece and then it's scratched out, or how do you say it's vanished, then it can be quite frustrating that you really have to sometimes let go to something that is beautiful and do it again. And yeah, I think that was the biggest learning lesson for me.
Someone else?
Well, for me, I think I stood very different in it from the beginning, because I was just not having a lot of problem with all the switches. Yeah, it was very weird. I don't know why, but I just went for it and was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna switch. Okay, let's go. And that what made it also very hard, because I understand for a lot of people it's hard to do that. I don't know why I wasn't bothered by it, but
That's also interesting
but
that
I think
you.
the biggest, exactly, and I think also that was the biggest challenge for me, actually. Like the opposite was that I was like fully going in it, and I didn't really feel as the others, and that also makes you sometimes a little bit off, or that causes sometimes a lot of energy when you're the one who's really going for it and not irritated by that. So you're like very joyful, and others are maybe frustrated or sad, or a little bit in their own bubble, because exactly how you described, it's hard, and sometimes very hard to face those things. And that, I'm not saying that wasn't hard for me sometimes, but I think, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm adopted, so I know how it is to have less. So everything that comes reaches to me, I'm like, let's go. I want that. This is amazing that I can do this. Or I'm just totally going for it and not thinking twice. And, also, I've learned to, like, trust people with a lot, I think. And I also think that's why I was able to trust Percy and Spunky so badly. And so it wasn't hard for me. I was like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna come, and I'm just gonna do what's necessary. I think you're not on the same level as the whole other group. Not everyone, because there were a few that were also not having a problem with it, but just the biggest challenge for me was that I was one of the several was having the process in a whole other way. And sometimes you're like very excited of something, and others are not. And it's sometimes weird when your energy is you're glad that you can do this, and then there's like this negative energy working towards your positive energy sometimes. And I think it's hard to keep going, I think. To keep pushing yourself, to take the others with you, to, make them enjoy it, make them switch or see what's also fun about it, And I'm not saying that everybody was very depressed about it or something, no. But yeah, you just feel that the atmosphere was sometimes just tensioned, and when you're totally not in that aura, that's just sometimes hard to mix that, I think. Yeah, so I think that was my...
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
But that's so wonderful.
To learn, how to do that.
But it's also really valuable that you share this. Thank you so much for that. Do you... because one of my questions actually was, what did you learn from someone Was there a certain moment that you really realized this person is helping me, or and therefore I'm learning something from this person in the group?
I really don't feel like girls because I had this experience before with this changing, and one time my choreographer changed it all horror before one day before. Yeah, we have only one day before performance, and this was really big, challenging for me. That's why I think in this project I feel a little bit more better. But I feel, how did Aiden say, there's a lot of bad energy in the group, because I think it depends of how many times they skip the classes.
Yeah.
They
Because I
skip
think,
the classes, sorry?
But you
Yeah.
mean the classes from P.O.V? Yeah.
sometimes people just not coming, and after they come and say, I don't understand anything, they changing everything, and you say, okay, but you're not here.
Yeah. I think when you're like one lesson not in the process, you feel like you have a lot of keeping up to do.
Yeah.
Like mentally.
I'm skipped only 1 or 2 classes, and after these classes I skipped the Michael Jackson part. It was really terrible for me. I come and just, what? I don't understand anything. I don't know this piece, and I have to learn it in 15 minutes because Percy say, oh, you don't know it. Why you don't know it? And yeah, but I know that Aiden, she's always can help. Yeah, she's always here. She's always. We have Ava always helping. Who, Fate.
Yeah.
That's always her, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Fate's always
She,
here.
I think she didn't
She knows
miss
everything.
one class
Yeah.
the whole year. Like she's the only
And she's like, because she's not gonna be with us like next season, and
Yeah.
I don't think if she's gonna do POV.
She's not going to
coming
do the
because
M performance
yeah.
because she has a dance workshop in California.
Yeah,
Yes.
but she's still here, so she's not gonna join the new pieces like that we're working on with the the teachers separately.
But she's always here.
But she's still
coming.
here. She films. She falls in with when someone is not there. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
if somebody's not there, she's standing on his position, dancing with us, and after tell this person what he have to do, and you just
Yeah,
okay.
and it's all natural or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Wow.
she's like, why not? How you do differently then? Why shouldn't I? Yeah, it's amazing.
I can do it.
But also I think like why the energy was a bit low or a bit like conflicted during the rehearsals was also because I think Percy and Spunky, for example, they prospected certain things from us, and we couldn't like give that to them because I think they wanted us to be very flexible, and in the first instance nobody could like be in their process, and that was also why we couldn't really be on one line with the teachers. And I think if that was the case, then it would be like more harmonized as a whole. And when Rome came in, I think
Oh, that
1
was a
month
good
before the
set, yeah.
performance, I think she was sort of like, she really stood in between like Percy and Spunky and us, so she could see both sides and really sort of say the same things as Percy said, but then like with a bit of another tone and just
I
a
don't know
bit
if it's
more
like more feminine
realistic.
energy, but
Yeah,
somehow
maybe that
it's
was
just
it just worked. And she also made she cleaned a few pieces with us, and I don't know, I think everybody just really trusted her, and that's why it was really nice to work with her. And yeah, maybe what you said also with the feminine energy.
yeah. That's what I think. That just and also it's just all of a sudden very different. I think
It was a really
because I
nice
think at
addition.
a certain moment we just kept being in kind of some energy and it went a slur, I think. And then we're just like, and she's also like I don't know, her energy is very bright or something. Also when she's got like these big eyes and she's like, you know, so you have something like, I don't know, that's just her aura, I think. And I think that was a very good thing to do from Percy and Spunky, to like switch it up a little. Yeah.
Can I tell something? Yeah, but that's funny that I'm not feel it with Romy.
Oh,
Everybody's
that's
feel
funny.
it. I'm not. I'm just okay. I really don't understand her. I like what's happening. Yeah, it's really interesting.
of course.
Yeah, how different that is. Energy working on people.
Even kijken of ik hem nog goed weet. In the beginning, you told us that point of view was also to prepare you more for the next step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I heard your learning curve
I think,
here, and that you sometimes were confused or you really had to adapt and work with the group. Do you think you are ready now for that next step?
Definitely more. I think that was also his thing, because he went also at the beginning actually with the solos. It was like we're gonna make a solo, and you had like your own music or whatever. But when you showed it, he was just putting on music, and you had to do it on that music. And I think that was like at first for him to actually see who is like more at ease with that, who was more, because we can all do that. Like your body can do that, all our bodies can do that as a dancer, or maybe even not. But and I think that was also his first, to find a sketch from who is more at ease with doing that, and also putting then already the process in about how to say, preparing us for the big field. I think
I think in the end that was a really good step, because if you like switch to other music, for example, you're not thinking about the choreography, but you really have to listen to the music and adapting that music into your body, and then you're really performing because you're really in the moment, really listening, and I think that makes art when you're just not thinking about steps or thinking about, oh, now I have to do this on the right music, but really feeling like, okay, now this certain sound comes and this just feels natural to do right now.
so the soul
Exactly.
reflects.
Yeah, so that's really cool. It always helps me to put on different music, and then I can see a certain solo or whatever in a whole other perspective.
Yeah, that's really nice that you can explain it like that. I think it's really interesting for non-dancers to realize what dance is truly about.
I also think that because there was a solo from Sophia, and that was actually on "They Don't Care About Us" from Michael, and that's like that's a very powerful song, and you can't miss the music. Like, it's impossible, and it gives you the power right away. And then Percy told her to do it on like Beethoven or something.
Yeah.
Like totally different. And I think that was also, he was very trying to push us in that way, to see how your body can be the rhythm and can be the energy. So the music, you don't have to depend on the music to tell your story, or to, it can only, support, but that you can do it, and that makes it even more powerful. So I think he was in very little ways, but big ways, trying to prepare us and to, kind of experiment.
I think that's an important word.
Yeah.
And also learning to trust on how important experiment is and how much you learn from it. So therefore, it's good to not know, because
then you don't have a comfort zone if you not know. You're
limited.
just throwing into the deep, and then you can do everything, I guess. If you already know what to do, you can prepare on that, and you can say, okay, until here and not further. If you don't have any expectations, you don't have any limits, and you can go as far as you want. Or if you,
Percy's always like, be fearless.
yeah.
And if you're known, you're
Yeah,
not
what's the worst that can
going bad.
happen?
Yeah.
You can fail, but what's failing? Because if you fail, you can learn
Yeah.
different things and you can broaden your perspective. So
Yes, absolutely. So, if you look back and we had this conversation, what are keywords or key feelings for you?
Wow.
not really stamina, but like doorzettingsvermogen,
Determination.
determination, definitely. And not in a physical sense, but really like in a psychological sense.
Perseverance, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perseverance. Yeah.
I think trust.
That what
Trust. I think
that what came
trusting
to
the
mind when I
process,
heard you
trusting
talking.
the teachers, trusting yourself. I think trust is a very big one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, being open-minded.
Mhm.
For
And what do you
others,
what do you need to be open-minded?
I guess non-much judgmental. Being non-much. Being non-judgmental. Because I think if you have like some sort of atmosphere in which you feel judged, you can't really open up yourself or be experimental. And I think if it feels like a safe space and everybody's just really zo. Sorry, even een beetje blackout. If everybody is just respecting each other, then you create a safe space together, and then you can,
Trust
trust
as well.
And I think
Do you
also-
like to? Oh, sorry.
No, go.
I have a question. What is trust?
Trust.
Ooh.
Having faith.
Yeah. To.
If you trust someone, you rely on this person.
I think rely.
Okay.
I think.
You know what
Yeah.
rely means?
I think I understand it, but I'm not sure.
You can
We
be
can-
there for
You know,
another.
wait. You know, like you have the trust fall. So when somebody's standing behind you and you're just standing like this and you just drop yourself and you kind of like rely on the other one to catch you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you have the feeling like I'm giving my everything to you right now and I'm relying on you to make that okay. To
Yeah, okay.
That's like trusting. I
Debora.
think. Yeah.
And I think trusting yourself, that's so important. That's where it starts, because when you explained that you felt really different in the process, that was the first thing that came up. But I was really wondering how you yourself look back on that experience, and then later you started using that word, like you had some basic trust.
Yeah. I think.
And also in Persian spunky, but I think that comes from a basic trust in yourself.
I think that's the main source.
Yeah. So, yeah, and in the end, it's all about trusting also the others, of course, that you, although maybe some other dancers are different in the process, that you trust each other, that in the end, you will bring something on stage that's wonderful. Although in this specific production, it was really about the process.
Yeah.
But in the end, there was this moment that you have to perform. So, of course, I can imagine that is something in your mind. Teachers can tell you, oh, it's about the process. But of course, you think about the moment when you're on stage and you're, the audience is there. You just want to show something, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I have this process, I really think about the performance, not because of we have two performances. I try to understand what the audience have to understand after this, like this sense of this performance.
Okay, and what was that for you? What would you hope the audience would see or feel? What would you...
I think I found it only when we get the costumes, because before we didn't understand what it is.
That really added something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had like a work in process performance like in between,
Yeah.
and then we didn't have actually like the clothes yet, and I think that made it very. I don't know. It sounds silly, but sometimes a costume can do a lot because then it becomes real or something. I think for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me the costume was actually like the main theme, the main goal of the whole performance.
That's very
Yeah,
How come?
because
Tell us.
yeah, well, for me it was really about evolution, and we constantly used our clothes, getting them off and on, and then you got into a new sort of body. And when you had like your suit on, you were with the group as a whole, and when you took it off, or for doing your solo, for example, you were dancing on your own, and you were being yourself in your own process and your own point of view. And that made it all so clear for me at once. And yeah, that was sort of the red line through the whole performance. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
If
maybe
you-
something
yeah.
also because it wasn't maybe clear and it puts pressure on you. Maybe that's because like the suit, actually how you said it, it's like the thread through all of it. So maybe
Yeah.
it felt like if you got that, you just kind of got the whole piece, or maybe
Yeah.
the trust.
Definitely, because we never had like some sort of very structured image of, okay, this is where point of view is about. And then I think you really had to think about it yourself and really be critical from, okay, what is this for me? And that was actually the essence of the whole piece. And from that point on with the costumes, I think I gave it meaning for myself. So that was my sort of switch in the whole process.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And because I really felt that symbolic meaning of the costumes and it, it taking it out, being, to me, I interpret it as being vulnerable also in a way because you were in your underwear. But and then the costumes made you as a group. But on the other hand, also in this group, you were your own unique person because all your costumes, all your overalls were customized. They were made, with your own quotes. And I think that's also a really nice reflection on society. Like, we're a group, but you're all your own individuals. And you, like also the way you started by writing your own letter, you do that, but all the letters are different. You do, yeah. So there's also in these costumes like your uniform, because they were the same, but still in these uniforms,
Yeah, it's different.
also your own point of view is reflected. Yeah, and then doing the solo, it is totally about you, and almost like being naked, but really expressing your body is speaking for you. Yeah, like a true dancer does, of course. But then you need this process of being able to develop that language, actually, which you brought to stage.
Yeah. Well, I think actually for me, the performance wasn't even the main thing. I think there wasn't for me like a main, top of the mountain or something. I think because I don't know, because I was able to trust, I was able to be in the moment and to enjoy the moment. And I think that, yeah, I don't know, it maybe it feels kind of weird when I'm saying it, like you're working towards this thing like for a long time, and then the end is not the main thing you're excited about. But yeah, I think the whole process was just valuable, I think. Yeah.
It's so much more than just this one
Yeah.
like 45-minute piece. So that's, I think it's a big gift, and as you can experience it like that. No, so I think it's nice if you can say something about the costumes, Mich, because it now so naturally came about, and I already wanted to mention also the costumes, but now, and that's enough, I think, for now. Yeah? Because that was also a process. Like you said in the beginning, Percy said we're going to make a piece for 7. He told me 9. And then, because we're also like surprised again and again. Oh, okay, there were more dancers. Oh, okay, we're going to do this. Okay, we're okay. But actually, I really like that as well. Because, like trust,
I think I want to a little bit change my solo.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. because when
That's
we get
nice.
the
Yeah,
customs,
why not? Yeah.
when we have
You
get the
should.
customs, I had something in my head, like what does it mean for me, this costume and this story for POV, what is this for us, and I understand that now it's a little bit different because when we get the customs, I'm already had my solo, and I have to take the custom on the solo. It's not about the what I want to show. Like, yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
bit
your perspective
weird.
kind of changed because of it, maybe.
Now I had a little bit different feeling about it, and
Yeah, but I think Percy would be, because he's always like, if you want to develop. He was also with the letters. He was like, because a lot he does that apparently every year, and I think if it was like, do we have to write it again? And he was like, yes, you have to write it again because every time your reason is different.
Yes,
So,
of course.
I think that's also a process.
true. How was the process?
Customs. How did you develop that idea, or what was your process, Mich? Because you customs, you just hear them say it's so important.
Yeah.
What was your process?
Well, like you already said, I thought I was going to be making costumes for 9 people or something like that. And then in the end, I think I made like almost 25, 30 costumes. And I didn't know. I don't dance. I've never designed clothing. So what was my process? Just visiting you a few times, and then also talking with Percy helped a lot, because he had the idea of like a uniform, because he was wearing one at a mansion meeting. I think that was the start. So the overalls were already like a thing. But then Percy sometimes just threw something at me.
Recognizable, very recognizable. Yeah.
He just threw something at me, and I was just like, okay. So he would just throw something at me, and I would just sit and think. Then once I talked with one of the dancers, and she said there are a lot of different languages in the group. A lot of people speak different languages, and I was like, oh, that's something I can do something with. So then the idea came for the quotes on the suits, all your personalized quotes in the language you wanted to. So that's where that idea came from. But I think it was also for some of you. How was that process for you to think about the words? Because some of you it was quite hard, right? Or not? Did it just came easy to you?
Sometimes it's just hard to summarize something that's so
Yeah.
big in a few words, and then you feel like you need to touch those certain like main
You want to like involve
reasons,
everything
yeah.
you think in like a few words,
Yeah.
and then sometimes
But
hard.
what you already mentioned, it's really cool that everybody wrote it down in their own language, because of course that's also a symbol for who you are as a dancer. So your language, your body language, and I think language is art as well, because you communicate through words, and those words mean something. So that's cool. So
Sure.
I sort of found samenhang in that.
Yeah. And I think for me it's just my quote, what I wrote was like, weird is the most normal, I think. And that's just something I just always say, it. I always use it, and every time when she says like, you're weird, if I'm said you're weird, and she's always like repeating it, weird is the most normal.
It is true. Well done.
And I think I waited for a little, because I was like, maybe I want to find something else, because that's just something I really stand for. But I thought like, try something new, because otherwise it just keeps being the same. But then I just figured like, yeah, but that's just something I really stand for. This I want that to be on my suit. So then I just texted you to put that on. But I think for me that's why it wasn't for me so hard to choose.
What did you have on your suit, Liza?
I just take 3 words which I think always after war started. It's dreaming, fighting, and be alive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. It's really, I get really emotional. I believe I made your suit, didn't I?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Letters.
For me, that's when the project came alive for me, when you all sent me your quotes. Because, first I was just really searching on the internet for those stupid suits and measuring your height and asses and everything so you could stretch and do your crazy flips.
That's a thing, yeah.
That was, and I even said with, what's her name? I know her quote. She didn't dance. Skin Fury.
But she
didn't
didn't.
Ariella. I sat with Ariella for like half an hour to pick the sizes of the people who weren't there. We're like, oh well, she's a little bit like Eden, well maybe a little longer, and then so that was the hard process, the hard part for me. But then painting was actually, it really came alive, and I really got to know you through the quotes.
That's very cool.
So I was really thinking of, because I already visited the rehearsals a few times, I was really thinking about Eva, for example. When I was writing her quotes, I was like really thinking like, okay, she looks like this, where would it look nice on her suit, or big or small, or so that was the fun part for me. Yeah.
What was your quote again?
Yeah.
You had like a million quotes, right?
Yeah, well, first I'm like very bad in summarizing things, so I think I wrote a little story and then I said something like, "Can you do something with this?" And then I had to pick out a few words. So I had what did I have? Okay.
Saamhorigheid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
saamhorigheid, togetherness, expression for sure, and another word. Such a shame that I forgot. Do you remember?
No.
Expressions.
I don't know.
And
Onderzoekend.
yeah, something like that.
Something
also-
in that corner, I think, right?
Yeah.
Explore.
Maybe
some,
something with experimenting, exploring, or authenticity, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Well, I didn't know what was gonna happen with the suits. So after I saw the performance, I was just really amazed how Percy and you all incorporated the suits in the dance. I thought it was just so magical to see just pieces of fabric come alive. Yeah. Literally, because you started no, there was somebody else, another dancer. She like literally started the dance in a pile of those suits.
Whose
Romy.
idea was that? That the suits should all be on stage already?
Yeah, I think
I
Percy.
think Percy.
Okay.
I think.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something because, like you said, the quote, you had something that came up immediately, like weird is the norm.
Weird is the most normal.
Weird is the most normal. And then after you started thinking, I have to do something else. But I remember a phrase in a book about theater, and this specific part is about originality. And it describes really nice how we always want to be really original. But actually, the first thing that comes to mind, that is original, because that's the most you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
You don't-
and actually, and that's also about trust, trust what comes up, that's you. And
Yeah.
grab it, take it, use it. So I'm really happy that you came to this insight, like, no,
Yeah, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it when I see
Yeah.
people on the streets and like doing a weird dance or just singing, or even when it falls, I'm like more in love with a person than when it sings like perfectly, because then like that is so you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. Well, that's also a really nice line. That is so you.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
thank you so much for having this conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
as
you.
well.
Is there something to end with you really want to share, or a quote or a memory?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Weird is the most normal you can be. That's a rhyme.
Yeah, I always feel
funny.
weird.
Right? I love weird.
I love to.
I love weird. Like, yeah. Like deeply. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, how we ended up.
I love weird too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So.